I think the difference, though, I'm not siding with Elon Musk at all here. The one thing to point out is that platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable.
Okay, guys, we got to talk about the mind virus that is causing stupidity like what you see right here. Let's jump straight into it. What is up, gang? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel. And in today's breaking news, I'm going to tell you what, you're not going to believe what you are about to see here. And I'm just trying to find the words to describe the phenomenon, the psychological phenomenon that we're witnessing taking place here post-election. And I kind of cracked this up to mental illness. This is evidence of a mind virus that has infected Democrats, liberals who are out of control, losing control, and just don't even realize that the words coming out of their mouths are exactly what they falsely accuse their adversaries of. So we're going to just check out this clip here from the Melanie King channel. Shout out to Melanie King. I commented on her video when she did this great presentation. You need to watch the whole video and listen to her commentary, but I'm going to show a few clips of this and then we're going to react to it and show you a clear example of the delusional thinking. It's like dementia. I don't know how to describe it other than that this is a mind virus that has infected these people because they no longer have the ability to realize the hypocrisy in the words that they speak. So let's jump on over here and just check out this clip. It starts out where she's talking about the percentage of negative coverage given to the Trump campaign. It says here, by contrast, Donald Trump received 15% positive coverage versus 85% negative coverage, trailing Harris by 63% in terms of positive coverage. And this unprecedented edge topped the previous record of plus 58 for Joe Biden in 2020. All right, let's just play the clip and we'll pause as we go and try to make sense of this. You're just clearly not going to believe this. Let's watch.
In 2020.
I think the difference, though, I'm not siding with Elon Musk at all here. The one thing to point out is that platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable.
I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory structure
doesn't go over public airways.
that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook. And
Notice how she's just talking out of the side of her neck right now. She's just making stuff up as she goes because her point was just destroyed. They're a cable news network. They're not regulated. But then she's going to launch this thought process stating that if Elon Musk buys MSNBC, that he would be under much more scrutiny and regulation. What in the world is she talking about? Let's continue.
And
They're still, we know censorship is the way of the left. That is what they want. That is their desire, is to censor. Again, any dissent. Kamala Harris talked about this. Tim Walz talked about this. Hillary Clinton. We hear this coming from them.
Okay, now this clip is just going to shock you. All right. So reeling back a little bit, one interesting thing that I caught CNN doing, other reporter, so-called journalist. We know they're not journalists. They're propaganda puppets. They launched an attack about the report of X, formerly known as Twitter, being a much more ideologically balanced platform than it has ever been, as the numbers reflect the percentage that we saw in the recent election. And then the reporter lady shoots that down, says, that's absolute nonsense. Why are you saying that? You can't even believe it. And then the same person that just made that previous point said, well, it was CNN that made this report. So she shot it down, saying that it was absolute bunk, but it was CNN themselves that reported the story that Twitter X is much more balanced. So they don't even believe their own network reporting factual information because it doesn't fit the lies that they're trying to tell. Now, in this next clip, this is dangerous, and I want you to think about this before I press play again. Think about how many times we heard these three people accuse Donald Trump of being a dangerous dictator who is going to take over the country, stop all elections, and just have complete rulership over all people. And then also, as you hear the first one vomiting this nonsense out of her mouth, think about all of the negative, very, very inflammatory propaganda and lies that she was accusing Donald Trump of being, while she makes these statements here. This is so hypocritical. It's hard for me to even watch. Let's listen to this, and then you tell me who's the real dictator. Who was the more dangerous dictator? Is it Donald Trump? So while you're listening to these three clowns, think about that. Here we go.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy.
Now that's nonsense. So she's accusing them of being hateful, while during the entire campaign, what was she doing? Donald Trump is a dictator. Donald Trump is like Adolf Hitler, making comparisons to a person who was responsible for the unaliving of over 6 million people, right? But let's continue. Go ahead and make your point.
And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable.
Oh my gosh, cyber warfare. What is cyber warfare? That is such a stupid word. That kind of predates, it's the beginning of the internet when cyber warfare even became a word. There's no such thing. No such thing. So she's going to put you in jail if you push hate on social media. But again, this is the same person that was pushing hate by making false accusations against Donald Trump in comparing him to Adolf Hitler. All right, well, let's just continue and hear what the next dodo bird has to say.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
No guarantee for free speech. But these guys are the ones that are protecting democracy and freedom, right? Right? But there's no guarantee on free speech. So apparently, free speech is not a part of free democracy. And these are the people who are guarding the democracy, right? Well, go on, Dodo Bird.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda.
Oh, really? And who are those Americans? It's these three imbeciles right here, engaging in hateful, damaging propaganda based on 100% lies. But go ahead, continue your point there, Hillary.
Whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
Morning Joe.
Oh, well, how about we prosecute you for all the lies that you told? But here you sit free, so you're going to put everybody else in jail, but Donald Trump's the dictator. Okay, Melanie, explain it.
Joe went on a rant about how it's so much disinformation and no one's fact checking them.
When all of the garbage is
Now, before I let this ding dong make his point, let me mention that the word you heard, disinformation, that is a weapon. They have weaponized the term that they made up. And what disinformation really is, it's any factual information that goes against the points that they're trying to make. It's any factual information that exposes their hypocrisy. It's any factual information that decreases their chances of remaining in power. So let's hear what these imbeciles have to say and let Morning Joe go ahead and vomit his nonsense out of his mouth.
flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down. Critics of the press are feeling more empowered than ever. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. This is what gets me.
Oh, God, I can't take any more of that. Yeah, what they do matters. And again, so this is the very definition of dementia, of a mental illness, that there is a mind virus that has infected the brains of these Democrats because he's doing exactly what he's describing that is evil. How else can you explain it? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Do you have a scientific term or a psychological term that would better describe this than I do? Because all I can come up with, again, is that this is a mind virus. And when I say mind virus, it's programming. It's programming in the mind that when you repeat this same stuff, when you repeat the same points, the same thoughts, and you do this day after day, what happens in the brain is this. The brain creates photochemical pathways that are basically like programs. You know, in programming, where you're making a program on a computer and you have command prompts, well, those same things exist in your brain. And so your brain becomes conditioned where these programs are written so that when you hear trigger words, it goes through the same process where we bring in this information to the ears, and then the thought process occurs where the program that's in the mind that is made up of actual photochemical pathways, neurological connections that exist physically, that process that information and then spit out a standard answer. That's what I call a mind virus. So here we sit listening to these people making all these nonsense points where they're guilty of doing exactly what they're accusing Donald Trump of doing, and not even having the capability to understand that they're the ones that are lying and are guilty of the very crime that they're gaslighting the American public and trying to fool us into believing. Let me know what you think about that. Because again, I mean, when have you ever seen this happen? In the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about a reaction by Carville. What's his name? Carville, the old curmudgeon Democrat, the old school guy. Well, he's been going unhinged and completely destroying the woke Democratic Party, the new version. I've been telling you for months, since the earliest days of the election, that today's Democrats are not the Democrats of the past. The Democratic Party has been destroyed. They used to be the party of working class people. They used to be the party that lock, stock, and barrel always would support the Democratic presidential nominee. And now we see that the unions and the working class people have gotten off of the bandwagon because the Democratic Party has changed. We've seen the woke movement come in, and now we see that the Democratic Party is about censorship, control, and basically brainwashing people to believe in lies so that they could instill fear and try to change the outcome of an election. I don't have any problem with old school Democrats. They had values. Those values are gone. But young people these days don't understand that this Democratic Party does not reflect the party of the past. Why? It's because they've been infected with this mind virus. Well, hey, folks, I would absolutely love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Go Political channel and share your thoughts below. Are you a Democrat that is not happy with where your party has gone? Are you like some of the Democrats we have seen from the past, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, who have had to depart from the party? Are you a common sense advocate of working class people like Bernie Sanders? Senator Bernie Sanders hasn't been affected with this mind virus. He's still very liberal. He claims to be an independent now, but he used to be one of the most liberal Democrats around, but he's not falling prey to the mind virus, which is worse than the C-19 virus that happened in 2020. The people who have not been infected by the mind virus are utilizing common sense, like we see going on with RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, who are jumping on the bandwagon to help make America great again and undo some of this woke nonsense that has developed over the past 4 years. We see Bernie Sanders even stepping up to join Donald Trump in making an attempt to crack down on the 29% interest rates from the predatory lenders that we call credit card companies. So some of them haven't been affected. But let me know, what are your thoughts? Have you been infected by this virus? Can you make any sense from the nonsense that I just showed you by the three dodo birds who sat there talking about censorship and throwing people in jail for speaking their mind and enjoying their right to the freedom of speech? Let me know, but that's about all I've got for this, and I'll be back very soon. This is Carlton, and I am out.